Yep, Man United do need to sign a new striker this summer. I don't think any United fan is going to disagree with the fact that that's the priority. Who that is, we'll find out during the summer. But this video, look, please give me 10 minutes of your time, because I'm all for looking at root cause analysis. You might say it's boring, but it identifies where the real problems lie. Signing a striker does not transform this team from where we are to where we want to be. Competing with City, competing for the Premier League, competing in the Champions League. Signing a striker certainly will score more goals, will be a better team, but more is needed. And I'm going to explain it all in this video. And the concept of control and the 3 different angles that I think we should be looking at it. And Ten Hag will be. Give me 10 minutes of your time. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. But let's dive straight into it. And of course, as I said, the first talking point here, of course. Yeah, we need a new striker. All right? We questioned as fans, what would Man United look like this season if Rashford's goals dried up? Well, you're seeing that. Martial is Martial. Great. Injured. Not so good. Great. Repeating cycle. He's going to be, I hope, sold in the summer. Well, that, of course, we're seeing now that Manchester United are not going to be renewing his contract, and that's not a surprise whatsoever. But Rashford, the burden of goal scoring can't just rely on one individual, and that's where, if we sign Kane or Osimhen, this team will be so much better next year. So many games this season. You look at that Brighton game yesterday. We should have scored 1-2 in that first half. Spurs away. Should have been dead and buried. Aston Villa in the first half. We should have been clear of Aston Villa. It should not have been a 1-0. And there are so many different occasions you can go to this season where that has been the case. But I'll tell you what, this stat kind of surprised me. Of course, we have played a lot of games. We've got to the FA Cup final. We've won the League Cup. We got to the Europa quarters. So I think half of those goals were scored in competitions outside of the league. But we have been scoring goals this season. And we would score significantly more if we have that world-class number 9. That is the priority. I agree with everybody there. With this United team, look, we should be getting into the top 4. I'm still not... Famous last words. I'm not particularly worried about it. It's frustrating, and it's added nerves where nerves don't necessarily need to be there. But the first problem of Manchester United not having that clinical goal scorer will be resolved this summer. But for me, that isn't the core of our issues. And I tell you what, when it comes to United's away form, look at that. This is our form against the top 9 in the league this year. The only win was against Fulham, and that was Garnacho's last-minute winner. Some real pumpings away at Brentford, City, and Liverpool. I would say the Newcastle one was a bit of a pumping as well. But you know what's even madder than that table? This table. Manchester United have the 5th best away form in the league. I saw this and I had to go, whoa. Is that for real? The 5th best away form in the league. Curiously, I wonder what our home form is. We've got to be right towards the top there. We're only 4th. You can't see the full list there because it won't let me go across. We're 4th. But that's mad. That kind of blew my mind a little bit. This needs to be resolved next year. And I think this ties in to the overall problem that we have at this football club right now for Erik Ten Hag. The lack of control. Control, control, control. It is the buzzword, the cornerstone of Ten Hag's philosophy. The absolute foundation upon which his whole team is built. I knew that from the first moment. I did all my research about Ten Hag when he was Ajax manager, the philosophies and the principles he had in place there, and what he started to try and do at Manchester United. Now, Casemiro coming in was a fantastic signing, and Casemiro can be a key element of this control, but it's just not working across the course of the whole season. Now, look, if Eriksen had the athleticism of Fred and the ball retention ability of himself, we'd have a perfect midfield partner for Casemiro there. But Casemiro, whether it's been Fred, whether it's been Eriksen, whether it's been Bruno dropping deep, whether it's been McTominay, the partners have chopped and changed all season to varying degrees of success. Man United need that ball retention. That player whose sole focus is ball retention, right? It's going to be boring, but it's so necessary. Casemiro, he can do that, but we need somebody who receives the ball from the fucking centre-backs and just finds a teammate. We need somebody who doesn't do much else apart from Take the ball from the centre-backs and find a teammate. Have a pass percentage success rate above 90%. Always find a teammate. That is such a key piece that we constantly miss. Casemiro's not that guy. Eriksen can be that guy, but doesn't have the physicality to cope with that press in the Premier League and finds that his space is squeezed. Fred's got that physicality, but he can't find the player. Compromise, and Casemiro can't do it on his own. And I'll tell you what, these last few, Casemiro, Villa was very, very good, but he's been up and down and up and down. And I think it's kind of symptomatic of a midfield that just does not have that control. We can't do those quick triangles, those quick passes out from the back, and it is affecting how we can play and build up. It's painful, and it's not changing. And that's the first element of control. Exists in this area of the ball. The lack of control exists here. Now, in my opinion, another solution to that exists in these positions. Because not only when it comes to David De Gea passing out from the back, right? Not only is he going to be looking for his centre-backs to drip. Let me go here, right? Let me pull that down there. We'll do a little bit of a tactical analysis here. De Gea in these positions with the ball, what you normally see is our two centre-backs split into this position here, and our fullbacks, they offer themselves out too, with one of the this is what we need, that person, that ball retention, ball hungry midfielder who just wants the ball and always find his teammate. We do not have inside the squad, right? But in this position here, De Gea say, I don't know, let's pull some opposition in. Say that Luke Shaw's getting squeezed, say that Lindelof's getting squeezed, and say that somebody's behind Casemiro too. David De Gea in these situations can always look for that out ball there to Dalot or Wan-Bissaka or whoever's playing there, whether that's Luke Shaw, whether that's Malacia, whether that's Dalot over there. This is where I think someone like Yuri and Timber could come in and give us that extra element of quality of ball retention, because it's not just about the midfield when it comes to control of a football game. You can get some of that control out here too. Now, Wan-Bissaka, a brilliant one-on-one fullback. I think I've kind of switched my position. Chopped and changed my opinion of Wan-Bissaka across the course of the season more than any player, I think. I feel pretty strongly about this. That if we signed someone like Yuri and Timber and we put Timber in this position there, instead, just hypothetically, we just take Wan-Bissaka's name there and we just put Timber there, just so it's nice and easy. And we play Timber there. We've got Varane playing there, right? We've got Luke Shaw back at left back because Martinez comes back. That back five there is significantly better. Would be significantly better at retention. And that's what we need to do. It's the boring side of football. I don't think it's that boring. Seeing your team really control the game is quite enjoyable. We can't. You can show me. There's not many examples this season. You can show me where Manchester United, for 2 minutes of a football game, just knock it about. There you go. Pass, move, pass, move, pass, move. We don't do it. That's why we can't have control. And that doesn't just necessarily, in my opinion, exist just because we don't have that midfielder. I think the fullbacks can play a part of that as well. And that's why I think signing someone like Timber would be a big, big plus. But you know where the third part of control comes from. And you might not want to admit it because of the emotional attachment you have with David De Gea, but the goalkeeper, a big part of that lack of control. Now, it's only because this is coming from the game yesterday, right? David De Gea there with 21 successful passes, 20 unsuccessful, and bipolar opposite how Jason Steele played for Brighton with Webster, with Dunk, and with how confident Brighton was, so supremely confident playing out from the back with the ball. Ten Hag would have been looking at that going, that's what I want. And in my opinion, the 3 ways that he gets us towards that is, number 1, signing somebody who's got the quality of Eriksen, but the physicality and the endurance of Fred. That is what we need, number 1. Number 2, I think signing somebody like Yuri and Timber, especially in the build-up, because when Manchester United then go forward from this position, let's get rid of these 3. And the reason why I'm saying Yuri and Timber here, right? Because of how Manchester United will play in the build-up. Say it works, say we're going forward. You're going to see one centre-back. It could be Timber, it could be Shaw. Either of them have the ability. One's going to go on the overlap and create on the they're going to drift inside, right? Bruno's going to go forward there, and it creates that 5-man attack, right? That's where the overloads come from. You've got your 2 central midfielders who stay there, and then you've got your 3 centre-backs who split. And then you've got Yuri and Timber there instead of Wan-Bissaka, and somebody who really has good ball retention, really can shift it and move it between. Fred, he needs to be upgraded to somebody else. In a dream world, you're looking at Frenkie de Jong, but that's just not going to happen. But that's what Ten Hag needs. He needs that ball retention midfielder. He needs, in my opinion, I think a fullback like Timber. He's not a fullback, he's a centre-back, but that's what I mean. That's why you're looking at this build-up and how he can play in possession. He would effectively operate as a centre-back. He'd be like a hybrid between a centre-back and a right-back, kind of drifting inside a lot. It's almost like that's what Ten Hag is doing with his fullbacks anyway. And the third thing for me is a goalkeeper. They are the 3 elements, I think, that are massively hurting Manchester United in the build-up. And they are the 3 blockers to what Ten Hag, where we are now, right? And we are going to get top 4 this year, I hope. I really, really hope. But the blocker that stops us getting to where Ten Hag wants us to be, competing for the Premier League. We can't compete with City. We've shown it right now, all season long. In the tough away games, we can't compete because we can't control a game of football. And you know what control is boiled down to? How good you are in possession. And I've just explained there the 3 fundamental issues I see inside this squad that a striker doesn't solve. So while we're going to be scoring plenty more goals with Kane and Osimhen, no doubt about it, I don't think we're going to be controlling that many more games of football. So these problems will still exist unless we address those. That's why this summer's so big. We've got to do that with a 100 mil budget. Man, we've got to sell good. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Feel pretty strongly on this one.